Hey, Dwayne, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Dude, right from the very start, I've got to tell you that this movie has affected me in so many ways because I'm that guy that has the compassion for those that worked at the bank. Because I believe that every one of us would have that question in our heart. Do I play along, knowing the consequences, or what's my next step? I just love how you put this together.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
As that writer, how did you deal with it inside your heart?
I put myself in the shoes of those young people. I grew up in the South Side of Chicago, working class family. I, made very little money, my first jobs. And imagine yourself, someone coming to you with this kind of offer. It sounds amazing. Also, you are sort of languishing in this position for years and years, and you're not going to go anywhere because, sometime your own moxie will allow you to move up. People say, oh, he had no degree, and he moved up to become the president of the company. It happens. But big institutions like that, they want degrees from good places. These young people didn't have those opportunities. And I put myself into their shoes when I wrote this and thought, what would happen if someone came to me with this offer? What would I do?
I feel that. I'm on this side of the flat screen. That's exactly what I feel.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad because, they all had their lives. They were living their lives and they were like, you know what, this guy, he sounds real. He sounds real. And, they knew his uncle, the nephew, and the nephew is their friend. So it all kind of, made sense to them. So that's how we wove it together.
But what's really interesting about this, Dwayne, is the fact that you brought these people together. They created their own team. And I mean that with a big solid T. They created a team. They talked together as a team. They were united in this movie. And that to me is like listening to sound beyond sound.
Yeah, no, they did. The actors, a great assemblage of really great, really good young actors. Of course, Courtney B. Vance was sort of a mentor father figure to them, both in the movie and in preparing the film. And you could feel the energy when we were preparing the film, how they listened to him. They understood how his preparation was their preparation. And I was just happy that we found such great talent. Our casting director, Aisha Coley, went there looking, and it really helped us to have, we have keen eyes for talent, and we found these four. They were very talented.
That is so interesting you say that, because one of my questions was, movies like this lead new actors to a higher level of success. My eye is on this team.
Good. Yeah, they love to hear that. I think they're going to go somewhere. Hey, if there's a sequel, they'll be in it.
Well, okay, speaking of sequel, did you ever think about making it into maybe a 9-part series on one of the streaming networks? Because, I mean, we've all been trained now that we want that deeper story.
Well, it's interesting you asked that. This originally was sold to another network as a 6-part limited series. And, the pilot was written, but it didn't work there at that one place. And then we went to another network, another, premium cable network. And it didn't quite work there because they had a different idea of how they want to do this story as a limited series. And then it landed at Paramount Global, and they saw it as I had seen it as a movie. And but the way these young people and Courtney's character is sort of built out, yes, there could very well be another episode, a third, a fourth, a ninth, a 10th, where they kind of emerge from this experience and try to figure out what they're going to do next. You take them through the 90s and, present day.
Wow.
So
Dwayne, I got to tell you that this was the conversation that I had during the lockdown. I took on a job at a grocery store, which to me is being in the community. And everybody always comes to me and asks me, what's the movie I need to see this weekend? I said Heist 88. I explained the story. I shared the story. And I just want to believe and truly want listeners to understand this is a movie that will create conversation.
I hope so. I really do. I think there's a lot of layers in the story,
Yes.
Not just the heist, but there's layers about economic sort of disparity. There's racial sort of understanding that where you are in the caste system of America, where what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, and sometimes you break through it based on your own sort of personal fortitude, but sometimes you don't. And I think this Jeremy Horne character is a guy who has really a lot of things going on that people can relate to.
How does one master the art of basically selling the spots off a leopard? Because, I mean, or do you even want to have that superpower?
When you well, explain that to me again.
In other words, that man can convince people to do things. I mean, and it was so effortlessly. There was no, like, oh, I am the boss, you must listen to me type of thing. This was, let's have a conversation. This is what I'm looking to do. Do you want to play along?
Courtney is a actor, from what I can understand, on the same. He's a classic, thespian, but he has that Edward G. Robinson, that Burt Lancaster,
yes,
and the sweet smell of success, the Anthony Hopkins and Silence of the Lambs. This convincing person where his voice goes lower and you get closer. The lower his voice goes, the closer you come to listen to him. So he draws you in by being less expressive, and you're trying to understand where he's going. And the next thing you know, you are doing what he asks you to do. And that is a major talent that he has. And I commend him for it.
I was blessed with the opportunity to share a conversation with him, and we talked about that pause and that moment where you have to let the viewer kind of get into the storyline. As the writer, how do you create that pause for the actor to bring that forward?
There's a lot of, when you writing is rewriting,
Yes.
and you write a line, you write a speech, you write a phrase, and then you hear it, and then you put it in the mouth of the actor, and they hear it, and then you say, wait a minute, period there, maybe this could go here, a pause here. You have to hear it, and it has to make sense, and then the subtext of what the line is has to ring clear, has to be there, because the lines just can't just fall. They have to really have some weight to them. So that is a talent that he has. All these actors have, but I learned as a writer to listen to not what the line is, but what's behind the line, and that's something I've been trying to do all my career.
Well, the entire team for Heist 88 is brilliant, because I'll tell you what, one of the big stars of this show is Chicago. I mean, the scenes and how you selected them. Did you personally go out there and make sure that they were getting the right places?
Every single scene, absolutely.
Oh man,
absolutely.
Oh, what was that like?
Well, I'm from Chicago, and we've all Chicago and Chicago, but you feel this is Chicago, or the Matrix movies. Yeah, I want this film to have a feeling, not so much the way John Hughes would use Chicago as almost like a playground. I want people to be able to walk down the streets and say, I walked on that street. I've walked to work that way. I know that train station.
Yeah,
I think that's what I really want to really exude in the choosing of these locations.
That's me. I'm that guy that's in that theater that goes, been there. There it is. I've had lunch there. I've done that.
Lou Mitchell's, you've been there. You've been to Miller's Pub.
Will you make more movies like this that really do embrace the human emotion in a way of do I or do I not kind of a thing? Because I love it when there's change and challenge, and then, like I said before, people come together and they have a conversation.
Yeah, that's kind of been the theme of the things I'm writing and I'm going to do next, where I want people to put themselves in that decision place, where you are standing there as on the shoulder of the character, and you are trying to make the same decision that the actor is making, that the character is making. I love that. I think when you immerse the audience in that, the feeling they get when they leave the theater or they watch the thing on television is that, I can feel that. I can feel that, and I want that. That's the next thing I'm doing. I'm going to be pushing that for sure.
It's been with me for a week. I can't shake this dang movie.
This is great. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
What about other writing? Because, writers are writers, authors are authors, journalists are journalists. But the thing about it is, this is a multimedia generation. And I know that your imagination has got to be tapping into other levels of basically exchange of thought.
Mm-hmm. Well, my other writing, the things I'm working on now, big ideas. I have big ideas that some controversial, some with kind of a long-lasting effects. I'm writing a film about gun control in America. I'm writing a film. I've written that film. It's quite interesting, and we'll see what happens next on that. I have a series I'm putting together about what happens when a weapon is used in the world, and what happens when that weapon can be procured by other governments that could take out a whole other country. These were big ideas I've sort of wrestled with for years in my own writing, and now I'm pushing them because I think it's important that the world look at stories that are not just about the things that affect individuals, but can affect many other people. So I have a bigger canvas right now. Wow.
I just love the fact that you are not staying silent. I cannot wait to talk with you even more in the future as you bring these stories forward.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the conversation, and I look forward to that. Absolutely. I'm glad you like Heist.
Oh, I did. And it's on the tip of my tongue every time I get into a conversation where people say, so what should I be watching? Heist 88. It's very easy to remember.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Great.
You be brilliant today, okay?
Thank you. You too.